Hi guys, my name's Wayne Quinton. I've been investing in property for the last 2 decades. I'd like to talk to you about the different types of property strategy and why choosing the right strategy for yourself is so important when starting out. In my opinion, there's 6 main property strategies that guarantee success. Investing in property is the best investment you can make, in my opinion, and increasing numbers of people are doing it. But starting out in property is difficult. There's well over 200 different individual strategies to invest in property, and this can make potential investors confused and put off investing for years. Of all the strategies, there are 6 main strategies that are used and that are most likely to succeed and provide a strong return on investment. Each strategy suits different people with different circumstances, money, time and experience. Plus, each strategy meets different investor goals. So it's important to choose the right strategy before getting started. You don't want to delay starting, but you need to take the time to recognise which strategy is best for you. Failing to do this means your investment will fail in the months or years to start. Right, the 6 main strategies are family let, holiday let, serviced accommodation, HMO or house of multiple occupation, rent to rent and joint venture. I'm going to cover each of these so you can see which strategy is best for you. Let's start with family let. So family let involves buying and investment properties to rent out specifically for families with children. The advantage of that is families like stability, which means they'll stay at the same property for years to come. Cash needed. Thanks to buy-to-let mortgages, you can invest in this strategy with only 25% of the house price, probably as a minimum of £40,000 investment for the first property. Time needed. Little time is needed to invest in this strategy if you outsource the sourcing of the investment of the property. Managing the tenants won't take long because they'll be long term, so no need to have to find a new tenant often. Alternatively, you can pay an agency to look after the tenancy for you. Experience needed. Minimum experience is needed to do this strategy, and a lot of this work can be outsourced, freeing you up to enjoy your great returns and your time. Investor a job strategy. This strategy is for those who want to be an investor and not have a property job. That is because it requires very little time, probably an hour a week. Things you enjoy doing to do this strategy. The strategy is for you if you prefer safe, secure investments with more certainty and risk avoidance. It's a strategy I have used myself with 20 plus properties, and this is one I also do for my clients too. The second strategy, serviced accommodation. This strategy involves investing in a group of apartments or properties to let out short term, usually a week or 2. This targets people looking for somewhere to stay when they're away from work or training, etc. There are many other target markets to be aware of and is heavily influenced by location. Cash needed. This strategy requires a larger investment to buy to let, as you've got the purchase costs plus the setup costs. Therefore, you probably need about £50,000 minimum to set up. Time needed. A combination of visitors coming and going weekly, and we need to keep the estate tidy and well stocked, etc. This strategy requires a lot more time. Experience needed. This strategy also requires a lot of experience. It's not something that you can invest in and leave it to make you money. You've got to keep things running. Alternatively, you can learn to outsource a lot of this if you prefer. Starting out, you will need to invest a lot of time to get it up and running. Investor or job strategy. This strategy is very much for those looking for a property job and can easily take 5 hours plus a week per property. Things you must enjoy. For those who enjoy providing great service, making a difference and integrating with people, this strategy is perfect. Right, the third strategy, holiday lets. This strategy involves investing in larger houses to let out on the short term, usually a week or two. This targets people looking for somewhere to stay on holiday, usually a large family or group. Cash needed. Because this strategy requires large investment properties, it costs more to purchase, usually 100 grand per property plus. Plus you've got the setup costs, which are typically more expensive than SA due to the size. Time needed. Once again, a combination of visitors coming and going weekly, and we need to keep the holiday let tidy and well stocked, etc. This strategy requires a lot more time to source, purchase, set up and manage, unless you can learn to outsource. Experience needed. This strategy also requires a lot of experience. It's not something that you can invest in and leave to make your money. You've got to keep things running. Alternatively, you can learn to outsource a lot of it if you prefer. Investor or job strategy. This strategy is very much for those looking for a property job and can easily take 5 hours plus a week per property. Things you enjoy. For those who enjoy providing great service, making a difference and integrating with people, this strategy is perfect. The fourth strategy, House of Multiple Occupation or HMO. This strategy involves investing in property that is rented out to individuals that share the same house. This is usually used for students, medical students, friends, family who want to share, and people who travel to work in the same business. Cash needed. HMOs requires houses that are bigger than those used for family lets, so the cost will be higher at about £60,000 with a 75% buy-to-let mortgage. Time needed. Because you're managing multiple individual tenants, it will take on average 5 hours a week to manage the HMO. Experience needed. Some experience is needed with this strategy because there are many different scenarios that could crop up involving multiple individual tenants. That could mean less rent is paid or maintenance costs are increased. Investor or job. Because of the time and experience needed to run the HMO strategy, it's best suited for somebody looking for a property job and not hands-free investment. Things you enjoy. HMOs are great for those who love solving problems, working with people and managing tenants. Right, the fifth strategy is rent to rent. This strategy, as the name suggests, involves renting properties with a purpose of re-renting it out with a higher purpose. Two common strategies would be rent to serviced accommodation or rent to holiday let. The cash needed for renting and not buying, the money needed is a lot less. Budget for 5 to 6 grand for serviced accommodation, or a budget of 20 to 30 grand for a holiday let. The cost of entry is a lot less, so could be more attractive for some people that are time rich but have limited funds. Both are great cash flow strategies. You need to understand the 4 profit levers in property, as you will only have the cash flow profit lever in this strategy, such as rent to. Time needed. You need to spend the time sourcing landlords that will rent out these properties. The term is crucial as the costs associated with the setup that you will be liable for. So longer term, it's more favourable. Depending on who you're renting to, the time you need to spend per week can vary the management time. If renting to a family, 1 hour a week could be realistic. If multiple tenants, like an HMO strategy, you'll need about 5 hours a week. Experience needed. As with time, experience needed is also linked to the occupants of the property. If it's a family, you'll need less experience to manage compared to multiple single tenants. Investor a job. If you're giving your time, this strategy is more for those looking for a property job. If you want it to be a hands-free investor, find someone who has time to do the investing. Things you enjoy. If you're going to be hands-on and give your time as part of a joint venture, you need to enjoy things like negotiation, persuasion, building relationships and learning. The sixth main strategy is joint venture, which refers to joining up with one or more investors. This is a great strategy for those who lack one or more of the three main assets needed to invest, that being time, money and experience. The idea is, if you, for example, want to invest in property and you have the money but you've not got the time or experience, you can team up with someone that does and split the profits. When I first started investing, I teamed up with my already business partner. Between us, we both put the money in, but didn't have the time or experience. So I gave the time and learned everything I could and put our money to work. We split the costs and we shared the profits. Today we have multiple trading businesses and multiple property businesses. I now spend the time and experience in the property business. The business partner spends his time and experience in our trading business. Today we share a portfolio of over 20 plus properties, as well as having many more of our own. Cash needed. As money is one of the three things you may or may not have, you may or may not need to have any money to invest. Time needed. Again, you may not need to give any time if you're a joint venture partner has the time and interest. Experience needed. Yep, you guessed it. Experience is also something you may or may not need, but as a minimum you need either money or time and experience. Investor a job. If you're giving your time, this strategy is more for those looking for a property job. If you want to be a hands-free investor, find someone who has the time to do the investing. Things you enjoy. As part of going to be hands-on and give your time as part of your joint venture, you'll also need to enjoy things like negotiation, persuasion, building relationships, etc. I hope it's been useful, and if you're wanting to invest in property but unsure what strategy to do, stay tuned, because my next post is where I'm going to be looking about who you need in your team when investing in property. I'll leave you with a summary of these 6 property strategies that guarantee success in my opinion. If this is helpful, please subscribe, like and share. Speak soon.